We're getting this started off with the basics, and the first one up is going to be rep, or repetition. It's going to be one complete movement of the particular exercise you are performing. For example, if you're doing a bicep curl, you're going to bring that weight up in a concentric contraction and bring it down in an eccentric contraction. What are those? Stay tuned, you're gonna find out. So once you complete that full movement, that is one rep, or repetition.
Set, a collection of reps performed in a row. For instance, one set of 12 reps. You'll take a rest, and then you'll do an additional set of 12 reps.
Rest times. Rest times are referring to the amount of time that you take between each set of a particular exercise. Some exercises expel a lot more energy than others. Let's say, for example, a big compound movement like squats or deadlifts is going to expel a lot of energy and raise that heart rate quite a bit. So what you want to do is take a little bit longer rest times between each set of a big movement like squats or deadlifts. Either 60 to 90 seconds, that way you have enough recovery time to perform just as good, if not better, the next set. For isolation exercises such as bicep curls or tricep extensions, the rest times are going to be a little bit smaller or shorter because you're not expelling as much energy and the body is going to require a lot less time to recover. So rest times of 30 seconds for isolations will be enough. Compound, or compound movement. Now this is explaining that more than one joint is being utilized in a movement. For example, squats. Now squats is a compound exercise because you're utilizing more than one joint. For example, you're pushing those hip back so the hip joint is being used and also the knee joint and a little bit in the ankle joints as well. So that is explaining that more than one joint is being used in the movement, hence compound movement.
Isolation exercise, only one joint being involved in a movement. For instance, a popular isolation exercise is the bicep curl, which involves just the elbow movement. For instance, up and down. One complete rep of a famous isolation exercise.
Supination. This word is explaining the rotation in the lower arm so that way your palm is facing upwards. And just imagine if you're doing a bicep curl, you're pulling that palm up and get a nice squeeze in the bicep. Supination is one of the major movements for the bicep. Word association for this one, just imagine you're holding a bowl of soup so that way it won't spill. Supination, palm facing up.
Pronate, the opposite of supinate. So you're gonna take that soup and you're gonna pour it out, putting your palms facing downward. Pour. Okay, that's not very good word association. But pronate is the opposite of supinate. So palms down.
Supine. It's very similar to supinate because what you gotta think is supine position, you're laying on your back facing upward, much like how your palm is facing upward in the supinate position. So next time someone says, get in that supine position, that way you can do some dumbbell flies, you'll know exactly what they're talking about. And you can thank the buff dudes. Supine.
Prone is the opposite of supine. So just like supinate was palms up, prone is like pronate. That's where your stomach will be facing down.
Drop sets. Now this particular technique is utilizing many failures contained within one set. So what you want to do is start with a heavy weight, complete your repetitions until you reach failure, immediately dropping to a lighter amount of weight, complete the next amount of repetitions until you reach failure, drop it again, and so on and so forth. So that way, in that one set, you're reaching failure several times. Drop, drop, drop. Drop set.
Pyramid sets. It's when with each set, you go up in weight and down in reps. So for instance, on your first set, you'll have 200 pounds in weight with 10 reps. On your second set, you'll have 220 pounds with 8 reps. Pyramid. Weight up, reps down. Just how the Egyptians did it. I don't think that's how the Egyptians did it.
Supersets. Now what this is explaining is that you're going to be performing an exercise and immediate follow with another exercise with no rest in between. For example, if you complete the repetitions in a set on bent over rows and immediately follow it with a set of pull-ups, that is a superset. It's gonna keep your heart rate really elevated, burn a lot of calories, and involve a lot more muscle fibers in the process. And that is why it's called the superset, because it builds a super body.
Giant sets. That's performing 3 exercises in a row without rest. That's some crazy ass shit.
Workout split. This is explaining that you're splitting up the muscle groups into different days of the week. For example, Monday, chest and back, Tuesday, legs, Wednesday, shoulders, Thursday, arms, so on and so forth. So every day of the week is incorporating a different muscle group. Workout split.
Spotter, someone who aids or assists you during a difficult exercises. Popular exercises in which you may need a spot are squats, bench press, military press. It's really any exercise which could be dangerous while performing alone. A spotter is there to assist you, help you re-rack that weight, keep you safe, and keep you buff. Speaking of spotters, let's go into forced reps. Forced reps is when you have someone to assist you to complete a rep you may not have been able to do on your own.
You're a failure. Failure. Usually that's a bad thing, but in this case, it's actually a good thing. Failure is explaining that your muscles are reaching complete fatigue within the exercise that you are performing. So when you reach failure, you're making sure that you're involving all the fibers until they are exhausted. So that is failure. And in this case, it's a pretty good thing. Racking, re-racking, or racking weights. Now this is explaining that when you get done with your exercise that you're going to be putting the weights back to its designated spot. So common courtesy, make sure you re-rack those weights. We're watching you.
Butt wink. No, it's not a subtle new way of hitting on people at the gym. This is actually due to lack of flexibility in the hamstrings when performing squats, resulting in a posterior pelvic tilt. If you look around the gym, you're watching people squat, you're gonna see a lot of butt winkers. Get those hamstrings in order, ladies and gentlemen, and save a butt winker's life.
Eccentric contraction. What this is explaining is the lengthening of the muscle, so it's the negative portion of the lift. For example, if you're doing a bicep curl, you're going to be bringing the weight up to the top position, but as you lower it, it's going to be lengthening the muscle, and that's going to be the eccentric contraction, that nice control downwards, and the muscle's lengthening, controlling the movement downward. But Brandon, what the hell is the opposite of eccentric contraction? Let me explain. It's simple. Concentric contraction is the exact opposite of eccentric contraction. Concentric contraction is the shortening of the muscle. So if you're doing a bicep curl, you're bringing upward, that's the positive portion of the exercise, and henceforth is called concentric contraction. Okay, so now you know what reps and sets mean. Psh, that's nothing. I know the abbreviations. You know what this means? ATP, DOMS, OTS, BMR. No? I didn't think so. Douche bro knows. I'm done with you. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I know the BMR. I know the ATP. I know the DOMS. I know the OTS. Ooh, douche bro, all the way. Douche bro, all the way. How's that?